So where did my knowledge and love and understanding of people begin? Good question. I wonder that myself sometimes. Well, it was after the first 6 years of meeting the love of my life. Not right away, 6 years. And as I've talked about on previous episodes, when Paul and I first met, we were madly in love. And as often happens over the years, our love changed through the various phases of life. It certainly never stopped or diminished, but our constant disagreements were wearing us down. You know, arguments, sometimes about nothing really. However, we were in love and we decided to get married. A few weeks after our wedding, we were at a family function chatting with my sister-in-law when Paul and I disagreed yet again over some topic of conversation. My sister-in-law said to us, "Do you know what? I've got a book you really need to read." Now this book was called Personality Plus, and it's written by Florence Littauer. We purchased a copy and I set about reading it. It introduced me to a new concept and ideas about people that I'd never even considered before. It was based on Hippocrates' theories. Now you may not be aware, because I wasn't, but Hippocrates was born at least 2,600 years ago and is the father of modern-day medicine. However, he also studied people's behaviours and developed theories around temperament and personalities. His ideas are currently used worldwide in a business model called DISC, and it's also been modified and written about in many other personality development books. This was the first time I'd ever realised that people were all different and that nobody saw the world the same way I did. It opened my eyes up to every relationship that I have with people. I was fascinated, and I've never stopped using temperament since, when looking at people and trying to understand them. Today, I'm introducing you to the Four Temperaments. These describe our behaviours, whether we are kind, quick to judge, impulsive, easygoing, good-natured, happy, optimistic, whether we're pushy, overconfident, negative, loud, bossy, and many, many more of our personality traits. MBTI personality type, as in previous podcasts, refers to how we get our energy, extroversion, introversion, how we view the world, sensing and intuition, the ways we make our decisions, thinking or feeling, or the way we structure our lives, judging and perceiving. Type does not explain behaviours and personality traits. However, temperament does. Type and temperament are very important viewed together in a person, as they overlap in many areas, but also bring different valuable personality knowledge to the table. I'm Kate Mason. In this episode of Personality Parenting and Partners, we're looking at how your behaviours can influence and affect yourself and other people. Using personality tools will help you successfully create the best connection and relationships with everyone in your life, starting with your partner. Once Paul and I had done the personality test in front of the book Personality Plus, we discovered that out of 40 questions asked, he and I had ticked 38 of 2 different temperament categories. No wonder we were having problems. We saw the world totally differently to each other. Now we could see why we were arguing, because we were in totally diverse worlds of thought. He was always going to bed at night and thinking about things that we could do, and business and how we could improve things, and what were the things he was going to get people to do the next day. I was going to bed thinking, how many people would I see tomorrow? How much fun could I have? What kind of friends might I meet? And where would we go and what would we do? When we would wake up in the morning and share our disparity of thoughts, we would automatically assume ourselves right and not give the other the credit, and the arguments would begin. This didn't mean we weren't in love with each other, but it did cause great friction. What Personality Plus gave us was the learning that other people's outlook on life was that we were not right or wrong, just different. If we could understand each other's differences, as previously mentioned, and treat each other the way they like to be treated, then life suddenly becomes so much simpler. Then Paul and I sat down and we discussed how different we were, and we realised that these differences were the ones that attracted us in the first place. We were actually attracted to our opposites, and if we cherished rather than shut those down, they were actually gifts that we could explore and utilise as a team. As opposites, we filled in the missing pieces of our personality puzzle, so to speak. From that moment forward, we totally changed our thought of each other's behaviours and valued them rather than disputed them. He kicks my backside and gets me going. He makes sure I complete stuff and doesn't let it sit for too long, and he constantly brings change into my life. Whereas I ensure that he has a healthy social life, and I fill his life with emotion and laughter every day. Together, we make a great team. Now, we're not perfect, so of course we still have our battles, but at least we have the knowledge of how to best diffuse a situation. This knowledge saved our marriage. Let's start with the 4 temperaments. I'm going to run you through each of them with a few examples, and you see if you can connect with any of them. Unless you've got an amazing memory, you're probably not going to remember all the personality traits that come with each of these different temperaments. You'll find details of how to check your temperament at the end of the podcast. So let's have fun with the playful Sanguine, who is all about people. Now this is me. We love to talk and be the life of the party, and people usually hear us before they see us. Now the Sanguine physically holds on to their listener, and when meeting you, they must hug you, climb up your neck, or physically touch you. Now I didn't realise until I knew about temperament that when I entered a room and enthusiastically hugged or touched other people, that people withdrew from me as I walked towards them. Wow, I hadn't even thought about this before, that everyone was not really like me and I was invading their physical, personal space. This was such an important learning for me. Now, Sanguines love people. I love to be surrounded by people most of the time. Life is so boring without them. We're always looking at the upside and find it hard to have to consider serious matters and not have fun. People find us expressive and enthusiastic about life. Sanguines are the people that bring fun and life to the table. Does this sound like you or someone else in your family or friendship group? Then we have the powerful Choleric, who thrives on action. This is my husband, Paul. These people are born leaders. We see them in our families and our places of work, directing people, driving action and change. If you're a Choleric, a couple of your greatest dislikes are sickness and loss of jobs. You are a human machine and love getting stuff done. You very often, much to some people's unhappiness, say it as it is, and you can be unemotional in your delivery. Cholerics are amazing delegators. You could say bossy if you're being picky. So much so that you don't often do anything yourselves. You can see why Paul and I had such conflict in our relationship. Our expectations and behaviours were so different. I was the fun pony, and he was the organiser and delegator. Paul's ability to delegate caused problems, as Paul was constantly giving me jobs to do and checking to see if I'd done them. Now that I understood his need to do so, I do not get as annoyed when he does this, but I do make a choice as to whether I'm actually going to do my delegated jobs, and I only choose the ones I want to do. I tell him to find other people to do them for him. He gets it, even if he doesn't like it. Now, Cholerics are people that make life happen. Do you have a change-making Choleric in your life? Let's get organised with the precise Melancholic. Melancholics are analytical, conscientious, orderly and organised. You love dealing with details and find it hard to imagine the bigger picture. You like to finish what is started before beginning other jobs or tasks. And schedules are very important for you, and if they're not followed, you can become very stressed and uncomfortable. You're an internal thinker, very thoughtful, and you mind your own business. You're often idealistic and can be a perfectionist in everything you do. You are the box tickers. An example of a perfect career for a melancholic is a surgeon, as their personality traits suit this job. They operate with great skill Every action needs to be exact and thought out. Concentration is vitally important, and the result needs to be as close to perfection as possible. You wouldn't want a sanguine like myself to be your surgeon. I would be talking so much I'd probably leave a sponge inside you or forget to sew you up. Now, our children can also be very different in temperament. When our son was 4 years old, I observed that his behaviour was very different to Paul's and mine. He was meticulous in the care of his toys, he valued his space, and was precise in his actions. He loved order and time frames in his life. As parents, Paul and I were once again in the place of needing to understand and accommodate someone else's behaviours, so I reread the section in the book on melancholic temperament. And as Paul and I have sanguine and choleric, although we're very different temperaments, we're actually both very impulsive people. And we realised that with Jack, we had to slow down. We had to organise the way we adapt and live our lives to become more specific and consistent for him as he developed. This way, we ensured that we looked after him, his type, and his temperament needs. Melancholics are the people who keep the world going in the correct way. Do you have one in your family? Last but not least is the phlegmatic, also known as the peaceful. Phlegmatics are the calm ones, usually unflappable in a crisis. Now, you're easygoing and relaxed. You can be patient and well-balanced and rarely get your feathers ruffled. You're witty and quiet, but sometimes so quiet that people don't really know you very well. People find you kind and sympathetic and often go to you with their problems because you're a good listener, or appear to be. You look for the easy way out most of the time, as really what's the point of getting stressed over too much hard work or emotional energy? I have a phlegmatic brother who used to work for us. He was lovely with the customers and very relaxed and cruisy, to the point that we would joke he was so laid back he could actually easily fall over. Using our temperament knowledge, we recognised that pushing him to become more energetic or motivated was not possible, but we accepted and enjoyed his good nature was the reward of working with him. Now there we have it, 4 temperaments. So which one were you? If your answer is a combination of these, that is indeed a possibility. You can be one of a few blends of these 4 temperaments. One blend that isn't possible is the choleric phlegmatic, as they're opposite in their behaviours and the way they deal with things. The phlegmatic's too slow-moving and relaxed, and the choleric's too high-demanding and fast-moving to be a likely combination. Here's a very simple example of some of the blends. The sanguine choleric blend. Now this would mean that you enjoy people's company and love to socialise, but you're also an action taker and you get jobs done. Not necessarily perfectly, but you get them done. Now the choleric melancholic blend means that you act quickly to get jobs done, but unlike the total choleric who has less expectation around the perfection of the job and more speed, your blend of melancholic will usually ensure the job is done fast and with precision. The phlegmatic melancholic blend, which means you're a relaxed person, but you usually like things organised and you appreciate some detail. The sanguine melancholic blend, which means you relish going out and being with people, but may enjoy detail and structure in your life as well. Now, in life, I also believe that your strengths can often become your greatest weaknesses. So let's finish with having a quick look at how to resolve each of these temperaments' weaknesses and turn them back into strengths. If you're a sanguine temperament, we know that you love to talk and have fun, but you can be prone to talking too much. So talk half as much as you did before, condense your comments, and do stop exaggerating. The sanguine loves to tell a great story, and a few exaggerated add-ins make it superb. However, your audience might interpret this as lying, and you will be caught out. Believe me, I've been caught out many times. You can be self-centered, so concentrate on being sensitive to other people's interests and ideas. Learn to listen and put others first. Pay attention to people's names, something that I'm guilty of, and write down things so that you can remember what happened. Now let's look at the melancholic's temperament. Melancholics do a lot of internal thinking and are often very sensitive to other people's comments and actions. This can bring the melancholic down and you can be easily depressed. We understand that finding and creating perfection in life is a tough gig, and not many people get it right. But you need to cheer up and realise that nobody really likes gloomy people. Endeavour not to get hurt by others' comments, because people are rarely out to upset you. Look for the positives in life, because not everybody's perfect, and life isn't perfect. Avoid procrastination. You can spend so much time planning and trying to get things exactly right that you can be late with your results. Sometimes you've just got to go ahead without having everything in perfect place, in a perfect space. And don't put unrealistic demands on others because your standards are so high. Remember, everybody is different. There must be a little bit of give and take about what's perfection and what is not. Learn to let go, even just a little bit. Now let's look at our just get it done choleric. The choleric can get very excited about new things to do and is quite often compulsive in their home and work environment. So relax, tone it down. Relaxing might make you feel guilty, but you need to take the pressure off yourself and others. Try to plan some leisure activities. Focus on giving yourself and the other people in your life a break, and occasionally make a conscious effort to let go of your need for control. Respond to other people's leadership. Don't look down on the dummies that you see in life, and stop manipulating people to get stuff done that you want to get done. Practice patience. Yes, patience. Keep your advice until asked and tone down your approach. Don't argue with people and cause trouble because you think you're always right. Let someone else be right. Learn to apologize and admit that sometimes you do have faults. Finally, our easygoing phlegmatic. Your even nature and eagerness to please others is wonderful, but you can appear very unenthusiastic and to some people lazy. Learn to take responsibility for your life. Don't put off today until tomorrow what you can do today. Motivate yourself. You also need to communicate your feelings, needs and opinions of others, as your lack of communication can be frustrating for both them and you. You tend to resist change and dig your heels in when approached with new ideas. Learn to embrace innovation and try something new. It could be great, but you won't know until you try. You may also appear a bit wishy-washy when you like to sit on the fence and not make any decisions about different topics. Practice making decisions. And there we have it, the 4 temperaments, and how they behave, both strengths and weaknesses. Which one or ones are you? Experiment. Become a people watcher. Have some fun and look at yourself. Look at your family. Observe your behaviours and theirs. At the end of this podcast, I'm leaving you some details of how to look up the personality quiz online. You can print it off and share it with your family. Please fill it in yourself, as nobody knows you better. Don't allow someone else to tell you who you are. I'm Kate Mason. Thank you for listening to Personalities, Parenting and Partners. If you enjoyed this episode, we'd love it if you could leave a rating and a review that would help others learn about this podcast. If you have an episode idea, please send a note to thepersonalitycoach@gmail.com. Many thanks to our producers at Podcasts at Pop. And would you do us a favour and let one person know about this podcast? See you next time.